What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex, and here we are again talking about Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Look, I've actually wanted to talk about this for a while. I kind of circled November/December in my mind calendar of like, okay, let's start picking it up. Let's start talking about this game. And lo and behold, you have other creators kind of coming out as well and being like, yeah, November is the time that I think we need to start getting serious about Suicide Squad, and let's start throwing some topics and let's discuss. So I'm going to do the same thing. And what I want to talk about is this the month? And does it have to be this month? So look, I actually thought December was the month that it needed to be, but people have made some like pretty darn good points. See, I have long thought that the Game Awards, although it's not honestly like a perfect, situation here, but I think the Game Awards is like relatively good enough in terms of its spot on the calendar where it makes a lot of sense for Suicide Squad to get re-revealed there, okay? You show a trailer, you do whatever you need to do to get excitement back into this game, and then you go from there. Now, people have made, and I've said that out loud, and people have made some good points in, they actually think that's too late, and that's what this video is for, almost kind of agreeing with that, and that's why I think November is maybe more important than I gave it credit for. So here's why. When you have the game getting re-revealed, let's say, on the Game Awards date, you have at that point less than 2 months. You have less than 2 months until the game comes out, okay? It comes out in an incredibly crowded area, which is another kind of topic of like, is this a game that has a potential to be delayed? Because honestly, I kind of think it could. I do think if you look at that late January and just all of February, Final Fantasy's at the end of the month, but early February is packed as well. If there's any game that could move, Suicide Squad is just as good as any, I think, that could be pushed. But we'll talk about that maybe some other time. You're not giving yourself a lot of time to talk about the game. Now, I actually think it kind of depends on what they want to do with the promotion of the game. See, if there's not a lot of interest in showing the game off, I actually still think the Game Awards makes a lot of sense. I think you could show it there, and if they don't care to overly show it, which by the way would not shock me, then that's fine, because you're also going to lose the end of December. You got to think about that too. We went through this with Gotham Knights and Hogwarts Legacy and Spider-Man. Games can like sneak up on you sometimes, right? Although the game comes out like the second day, I think, of February, right? Like very early. That's not when things really kick off. The review codes and reviews themselves, maybe those go live a few days before. Maybe people get the game to play maybe a week before. So now you're into the end of January, but then you have to keep going backwards, right? What about previews? What about like these IGN does the final preview for like X game, right? What about that? Well, that's normally like a month or so before the game. So now you're thinking, well, you can't do it like New Year's Day. So you're thinking maybe like early January. And when you think about it like that, you say, wow, by the time you get to January 5th, it's already almost over. And that's not really that much of an exaggeration. It's almost over. Because at that point, people have played pretty new builds of the game. You'll have those final previews. You'll have the interviews and all this stuff. And then the game will be out. It'll be out to creators and influencers and review sites. And all, it happens fast. And so why do I say all this? Well, I think people are right. I think the December 7th Game Awards thing would probably be too late. Because you do it there, you got 2 weeks after, and then it's Christmas, and companies they go on break and they leave, and they they'll schedule posts and tweets and stuff, but they're not going to be there during that Christmas Eve, Christmas, New Year's Eve, New Year. That's not happening, right? So you lose 2 weeks. You lose at least 2 good weeks of kind of promotion time. And so, well, what does that have to do with the entire thing? Well, I think that's why November actually does make more sense if you're, and again, this is the what if, right? If you're really serious about pushing this thing out and saying, we're going for it, we're really going to promote it, and we're going to see what happens, I do think you start now. You start in November because you buy yourself some time. If you start at the Game Awards, like I said, you only have a couple of weeks, then you take some big time off, and then by the time you're back, you got 2 more weeks, and then the game's out. The game is out, and it's going to get leaked, and trophies are out, and people are going to be playing it in Portugal because the mom and pop shop gave them the disc too early. These things happen 2 weeks before the game comes out, so you really don't have a lot of time. So I do think right now makes a lot of sense. Now, you also have Thanksgiving to consider, right, in terms of that day, that Thursday, you're not going to do anything. That Friday, Black Friday, you're not going to do anything there either. So you do lose a couple days delays, but that's not the biggest deal. But then you start to like you got to look at your watch, right? And you have to say, well, we are in November. Like, this is November. So you are also running out of time now. Like, I'm recording this on the 8th, and I think this video maybe will go up on the weekend. Like, you got a few weeks left in November. The months move fast, in case people didn't know, in case they didn't know. The months move fast. These weeks move fast. You don't have a lot of time in November to show off the game. But I really think I'm with the people that say, no, Alex, like, Game Awards is kind of too late. If you do it at the Game Awards, it's going to be rushed, and you just don't have a lot of time from then to release. I agree with that. I think the wild card is, and we're going to see this. We are honestly going to see this, and I don't know, 50-50. It's a 50-50 shot for me. Are they going to try to kind of sneak this game through? And that would be outrageous to think. Like 4, 5, 6 years ago. Even though like Night, was not that well received when it came out. If you told me that Rocksteady was going to sneak out a game because it's just been way too polarizing, like some people like it, but some people hate it, and it's just, you get into fights every time you mention it. If you told me that Rocksteady would try to sneak a game out to avoid this huge controversy online, I would laugh at you, right? Because like that's abysmally bad. That's terrible. But look at where we're at. I think that's a possibility. I really do, where they say, look, we have shown it. That is the other angle they could take. We have shown it. We did a state of play on it. We've done multiple trailers on it. People generally know what this game is, but kind of not, right? Like, so we don't need to show a lot. We'll show a couple things. We got a couple weeks to play with, even if we start at the Game Awards, and then we ship the game. And we don't even really want to show people too much. Maybe we're hiding it. Maybe we're not, right? Like, and I'm not saying that's going to happen. I'm saying that's possible. And I think that's a 50-50 shot. The other side of that 50-50, right, is no, they're willing. They retooled it, and they took this year to work out the kinks, and it's going to be better than what it would have been, a year ago. And they want to show it. So they're going to do it now. And they're going to start next week or the week after, and they're going to show us 2.5 months of info on this game. It's going to be a nice build-up, and then the game comes out. I think either could happen. And I really think it might depend on when they reveal the game. If they reveal the game at the Game Awards, and I don't know if you can read all the way into it. I'm not saying if it gets shown at the Game Awards, immediately you say, that's a rushed product, they're trying to slip it through, it's over. The game's going to suck. I think that's more likely because of what we just talked about for these 7 minutes, but I don't think it's a guarantee. And as I've said like numerous times, okay, I want to give them a chance. I'm still talking about it. I will continue to talk about this game, sadly, if you guys don't like it, but I will continue to talk about this game until it releases. I will be covering it. I'll be playing it day one. I'm ready. Like, I'm going to support this game in some way. Like the microtransaction thing, I'm not spending money long-term on this game. I'm not doing a battle pass, none of that stuff. And you can take that to the bank because I just never do that for any game. But, I am going to be playing it, right? So I don't want the game to fail. I guess that's kind of what I'm trying to get through. I don't want the game to fail. I want it to be good. I have always kind of been worried about it, I guess. And where we're at now, yeah, it does worry me about when are they going to show it, because you're running out of time. And I guess there's a third option, and this will kind of lead us, maybe next week we'll talk about this. There's a third option. You delay the game again. And maybe I'll leave it there. Let's leave it there. We'll talk about the delaying of the game, maybe a potential delay. We'll make a video like next week. How does that sound? Okay, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Make sure you're subscribed, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.